You need to watch this if you crave chills down your spine. Welcome to Soul Studios. Here, true crime meets the unknown. Suspense lurks in every shadow and supernatural forces whisper from the dark. We craft chilling, edge-of-your-seat short stories inspired by the eerie, the unexplained, and the most haunting mysteries. 3 new stories drop every week, each one darker than the last. Are you ready to step inside? Subscribe now before the next story finds you.
In the quiet town of Crescent Falls, a father's early morning routine takes a chilling turn when his teenage daughter doesn't answer her bedroom door. What begins as a simple check-in spirals into a haunting mystery involving a missing girl, cryptic clues, and a terrifying question no parent ever wants to face. What if someone you trusted isn't who they seem? This gripping, slow-burn thriller unravels a tapestry of secrets, guilt, and the desperate lengths one father will go to uncover the truth. If you love heart-pounding true crime-style stories that feel all too real, stories filled with emotional suspense, twists, and terrifying discoveries, subscribe to Soul Studios. We tell the stories you were never meant to hear, and the next one might be waiting just behind your door. I rap lightly on Abby's bedroom door with the knuckles of my right hand, expecting to hear her familiar groan or a muffled, "1 minute, Dad." The hallway is still dim in the early morning. A faint grey light seeps through the curtained window at the end of the corridor, casting elongated shadows along the wooden floorboards. I feel the coolness of the floor on my bare feet as I shift my weight, balancing 2 steaming mugs in my hands. The rich scent of freshly brewed coffee mingles with a trace of vanilla from Abby's favourite candle that often drifts out under her door. "Abby?" I call softly, careful not to startle her if she's just waking up. My voice breaks the hush of dawn that rests in our little house. I lean closer to the door, noticing the chipped white paint near the frame, a result of years of opening and closing, of posters taped and torn away through her childhood phases. A thin ribbon of yellow light from the hallway lamp spills at my feet, yet Abby's side remains dark. Silence. I wait, balancing her mug precariously. A few seconds tick by. A mild unease flutters in my chest, but I quell it. 16-year-olds are not known for being bright-eyed at 6:30 in the morning, especially after a tense night like last night. I inhale deeply, the aroma of coffee doing little to calm my nerves as I brace myself to try again, a bit louder. "Rise and shine, Abby. You're going to be late for school," I intone in a sing-song imitation of my own father's morning calls from decades ago. Usually this earns me a sarcastic retort, or at least a rustle of sheets from within. Today, nothing. The quiet beyond the door feels thick, as though the air itself is holding its breath. I knock again, harder this time. 3 firm thuds that echo down the narrow hallway of our old bungalow. The sound seems too loud, almost rude, against the morning stillness. A vague prickling runs along the back of my neck. She must still be asleep. Maybe she stayed up too late, sulking after our argument. I flex my fingers around the warm mugs, recalling the sharp words exchanged just hours before. Last night's memory drifts in uninvited. Abby, arms crossed and eyes blazing, standing exactly where I am now as she shouted, "You never listened to me," before retreating into her room and slamming the door in my face. In the heat of the moment, I'd yelled through the wood that she was grounded. No phone, no friends, no weekend party, my frustration boiling over. Regret tugs at me now. Neither of us slept well, I suspect. Perhaps she finally cried herself into a deep sleep, deeper than my knocking can penetrate. A pang of guilt twists in my gut. I didn't mean to be so harsh. If only we hadn't fought. I shake my head, dispelling the thought. It's a new day, time to make peace. That's why I have the peace offering of coffee. Though technically she prefers a frothy vanilla latte from the cafe in town, my home brew with a splash of milk and sugar might at least get me a begrudging smile. I free one hand and grip the cold metal doorknob. It's oddly chilly this morning, or perhaps my own anxiety makes my skin sensitive. Turning the knob slowly, I notice it's already unlocked. A bit unusual. Abby usually locks it when she's upset with me. The door creaks softly as it opens, hinges whining, A familiar house sound that usually doesn't bother me, but right now it sends a faint shiver through my bones. "Abby?" I call again, my voice now warbling at the edges as I inch the door inward. The darkness greets me. I fumble for the light switch on the wall inside, my fingertips brushing over the cool plaster until they find the tiny nub. With a click, the overhead light flickers on, casting a pale glow across her room. For a second, I just stare, the two mugs still clutched in my hands, forgotten. Something is wrong. I feel it before I fully register what I'm seeing. Abby's bed is empty. Neatly made, in fact, the navy blue comforter smoothed flat. That in itself is unusual. My daughter is many things, but a tidy early riser is not one of them. On a normal day, I'd find her tangled in her sheets until I dragged her out. If she had left for school early, which she never does, why would she make her bed? "Abby?" I say once more, softer, as if trying not to disturb the eerie orderliness of the room. I step inside slowly, my eyes scanning for her. The room feels strangely cold. I notice the window above her desk is open about a foot, an autumn breeze fluttering the edges of the pale green curtains. That explains the chill. But why would she open the window on a brisk October night? I move to set the coffee mugs down on her desk, next to her closed laptop and a scatter of textbooks. In the quiet, I can hear my own heartbeat picking up in my ears, a muffled drum. The smell hits me next, something faint but out of place. The sweetness of vanilla is gone, replaced by an acrid hint of... What? I sniff, trying to place it. It's sharp, metallic. A coppery tang laces the air. The hairs on my arms rise. My eyes dart to the source. A dark, irregular patch on the beige carpet near the foot of the bed. The carpet Abby begged me to replace for years because she hated the colour. A sense of dread wells up in my chest as I take a step closer. The floorboard creaks beneath me, loud in the tomb-like silence of the room. The stain is rust-brown in the low light, about the size of a dinner plate, soaking into the fibres. My brain, sluggish with denial, struggles to process. It looks like spilled juice. She was drinking pomegranate juice last night, wasn't she? Yes, I'd seen a glass in her hand during our argument. Maybe she spilled it in anger. But even as I grasp at that hopeful explanation, I know the truth. It's not juice. The smell is too sharp, and there's a splatter pattern, tiny droplets leading away across the carpet in small, ominous dots. My breath catches in my throat as I follow the trail with my eyes. It leads toward the window. I lurch forward, nearly tripping over the edge of the rug. My vision tunnels as I approach the window, and the curtains billow against me, cold morning air rushing in. Outside, the dawn is spreading an orange glow over the roofs of Crescent Falls, but inside this room, everything is wrong. My hands shake as I push the curtain aside and look down. On the white windowsill, there's a smear of something dark, another stain, like a handprint swiped in blood. The realization slams into me, and I jerk backward, my knees almost buckling. One of the coffee mugs slips from my grasp and shatters on the hardwood, hot liquid splashing my ankles. I barely feel the burn. "Abby!" I scream her name this time, panic clawing at my throat. There's no sign of her, only these patches of blood and a silence that feels hostile and foreign. I stumble to her bed, throwing myself on the floor to look underneath, irrationally hoping she might be crouched there hiding. Only dust bunnies and a missing sock greet me. I scramble up and yank open her closet doors. The scent of her apple-scented body spray whooshes out, but no Abby. My hands paw through her hanging sweatshirts and dresses as if she could be concealed between them. Nothing. I spin around, my mind a whirlwind of fear. The blood on the carpet, the open window. It's as if I'm watching someone else's nightmare play out from above. This can't be happening. Not to Abby. Not to us. I rush back to the window and lean out, ignoring the paint flakes that scratch my palms. Our house is a single-story bungalow, Abby's room facing the backyard, and beyond that, a line of rustling maple trees. Below the window, on the dew-wet grass, I think I see more dark patches. It's hard to tell in the dawn light, but something glistens on the ground leading toward the trees, a disturbed trail through the lawn. Broken twigs, trampled grass, maybe more blood. My stomach lurches at the thought of my daughter being dragged through the grass. Hurt, or worse. A low ringing starts in my ears. I yank my head back inside and grab at my pockets for my phone. My fingers are numb and fumbling, but I manage to hit 911 on speed dial. The operator's voice is a distant hum as I choke out words I never imagined I'd have to say. My daughter is missing, I stammer, my voice high and thin, barely recognizing it as my own. There's blood, and she's gone. As I speak, my eyes lock on to something on Abby's desk, next to the other mug of coffee that still sits untouched. Her phone. It's lying there face down, its purple case with the little sunflower stickers catching the light. She never goes anywhere without her phone. My heart sinks further, an abyss yawning open under my feet. She didn't just slip out for an early run or to cool off. She would have taken her phone. Unless she couldn't. Unless someone made sure she couldn't call for help. The 911 operator is asking something. Our address, yes, I need to tell them. I squeeze my eyes shut for a second, trying to focus. Please, hurry, I manage, voice cracking. There's blood. I think she's been taken. The word tastes like poison on my tongue. Taken. As I say it, reality solidifies with an unforgiving clarity. Abby is gone. My little girl is gone. For a moment, I am frozen in place, one hand gripping the back of Abby's desk chair so hard that my knuckles are white. My eyes roam around the room wildly, as if expecting the shadows to spit her back out. But all I see are the relics of her life. The poster of her favourite band above the headboard, the half-open notebook on the floor with doodles in the margins, the stuffed fox I've had to repair twice that still sits on her pillow. A sob rises in my chest, hot and suffocating, but I swallow it down. I can't break down. Abby needs me. The distant wail of sirens grows louder, snapping me out of my haze. I rush through the house to unlock the front door, my legs trembling beneath me. The world has narrowed to the singular objective of finding her, saving her from whatever has happened. As I pass through the living room, I catch a glimpse of the family photo on the mantel. Abby at age 10, toothy grin and pigtails, perched on my shoulders at Crescent Lake, the sun turning her brown hair auburn. We were happy that day, without a care in the world. The glass in the photo frame rattles as I slam back the deadbolt and fling open the door. Red and blue lights strobe against the early morning sky as a police cruiser screeches to a halt in front of our picket fence. I wave frantically, shouting for them to hurry. My throat is raw, whether from shouting or the bile of terror that has climbed up from my gut. Two officers rush toward me, hands hovering near their holsters, eyes wide at the sight of a frantic, barefoot man in plaid pajama pants and a coffee-stained t-shirt. I'm babbling before they even ask a question. She's gone! My daughter Abby! She's gone! There's blood in her room, the window. Please find her! I hear the words tumble out in a high-pitched ramble, and I wonder distantly if I sound crazy. One of the officers, a stout man with salt and pepper hair, grabs my shoulder firmly. His touch is grounding, the rough fabric of his uniform brushing my arm. "Sir, we need you to take a deep breath," he says, voice calm but urgent. "We got your call. I'm Officer Gilman. This is Officer Reyes. Where's the blood?" "Her room. This way," I gasp, already turning to lead them down the hall. My mind is racing ahead. Should I have gone outside first? Followed the trail into the woods myself? Every second feels wasted, but the cops are here now. That's good, I tell myself. They can help. They have to help. Officer Reyes, a younger woman with blonde hair pulled into a tight bun, stays close behind me, radioing something about a possible abduction to dispatch as her footsteps thud on the wooden floor. We reach Abby's bedroom and I flick the light on again, though that horrific tableau is already seared into my eyes. Neat emptiness, splashes of blood, and no Abby. Gilman steps past me and immediately crouches by the bloodstain on the carpet, his face grim. Reyes moves to the window, peering at the bloody handprint on the sill and the darkness outside. They exchange a quick, heavy look. In that glance I see it. Confirmation. This is bad. This is very, very bad. I stand in the doorway, hands balled into fists at my sides, feeling utterly helpless. A coppery smell still hangs in the room, and now with others here, I feel a strange shame, as if I failed to keep this space safe. My eyes dart to Officer Gilman, who is carefully lifting the edge of the carpet to see if blood soaked through. and then to Officer Reyes, who has stepped out onto the lawn. I force myself to move, to do something. I follow Reyes out into the crisp morning air. The grass is cold and wet with dew under my feet, and the sky above is streaked with pink and gold. It looks like the start of a beautiful day, and the cruel disconnect between the serene dawn and my personal hell makes me want to scream. Reyes is squatting down, examining something in the grass. I step closer, hugging myself against the chill. The metallic taste of fear coats my tongue. "What is it?" I whisper, afraid to hear the answer. She looks up at me, eyes full of sympathy that scares me even more. In her gloved hand, she holds a single object, a small, slim cell phone, its screen shattered. My heart lurches. It's not Abby's phone. That's still inside on her desk. It must be someone else's. The case is black, no decals or decoration, a stark contrast to anything my daughter would carry. "We found this just below the window," Reyes says quietly. "Do you recognize it, sir? Is it your daughter's?" I shake my head quickly. No, Abby's phone is purple. It's in her room. I think whoever took her might have dropped that. The idea sends a surge of rage through my veins, cutting through some of the panic. Whoever took her was right here, outside her window, on our property. Likely the bastard who left those blood trails. I feel a growl of anger in my throat. How dare someone come into our home, into her sanctuary, and hurt her? Reyes nods and bags the phone carefully. More police cars are arriving now. I hear doors slamming and urgent voices. A couple of neighbors hover on their porches up the street, robes clutched around them as they look on with concern and curiosity. Crescent Falls is not used to such commotion, especially not on our quiet Maple Street. Officer Gilman emerges from the house to join us. His presence is solid, methodical. I cling to that as he speaks. "Sir," he addresses me, his tone controlled but gentler now. "We've called in detectives and an ambulance is on the way to check that blood. Are you injured?" Only now do I notice him eyeing the coffee burn on my ankle and the way my hands are shaking. I blink at him. "Injured?" I look down at myself. Apart from some redness on my skin from the spilled coffee, I'm fine. Physically fine. No, not me. It's Abby's. I can't say the word blood again. It feels like if I say it, it confirms the horror that she was hurt. Instead, I choke out, "She must be hurt. Please, you have to find her. She could be bleeding, she could be..." I can't finish. Gilman nods. "We're going to do everything we can. We have officers canvassing the area and a K9 unit on the way to track from the window. But I need to ask you some questions, okay? Time is critical." "Questions? Yes, of course, they have to ask." I swallow hard and nod, running a trembling hand through my hair. It's then I realize I'm still in pajamas. The morning air nips at my thin shirt and I shiver, adrenaline the only thing keeping me warm. Reyes offers, "Let's step inside, maybe into the living room, and we'll ask you a few basic things. Detective Cantu is on her way. She'll take over the investigation. Is there someone you can call? A relative, friend? Abby's mother?" Abby's mother. A fresh pain twists in my chest, different but achingly familiar. "Her mom passed away 5 years ago," I reply quietly. "It's just us." My voice cracks on the last word. Ray's face falls slightly. "I'm sorry," she says, then quickly continues, "What about anyone else? A close friend or neighbor who can be with you?" I shake my head numbly. There are friends, colleagues, but at this hour, who would I call? My mind is too scattered to think of it. "Later," I manage. I need to focus on Abby now. Officer Gilman gently guides me back into the house. I must look a mess, so he steps around to meet me while Reyes circles to the front, talking into her radio about securing the scene. As I walk through the kitchen toward the living room, everything feels surreal. The mug I dropped in Abby's room, the coffee on my clothes, the fact that dawn is now fully breaking outside. These mundane details clash with the nightmare unfolding around me. In the living room, I sink onto the couch. The cushions still bear the imprint of Abby curled up there last evening, angrily scrolling on her phone while avoiding talking to me. I remember glaring at her from the armchair, trying to find the right words to apologize to diffuse the situation, but instead I said something snappy about respect and she stormed off to bed. Now I'd give anything to rewind time and just let her go to that stupid party or talk it out calmly. Anything that would have kept her here, safe. Gilman sits on the edge of an ottoman across from me, not taking out a notebook yet, just speaking calmly. "Mr. Harper, I know this is difficult, but we need to get as much information as possible. Every detail could help us find Abby." He says her name gently, as if acknowledging that she's a person, not just a missing subject as police jargon might reduce her to. I appreciate that, though my chest aches hearing a stranger speak her name in this context. I nod, rubbing my hands over my face. They smell faintly of coffee and something sour, fierce sweat. I try to focus. "Okay. I'll tell you anything you need. Please ask." Detective Serena Cantu arrives just after sunrise, bringing a focused flurry of activity that transforms my front yard into a full-blown investigation site. She's a tall, no-nonsense woman in a charcoal pantsuit, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Despite the urgency, her movements are measured as she confers with officers Gilman and Reyes near their patrol car. I watch from my front steps, arms wrapped around myself. A thin mist clings to the dewy grass, and I shiver, not sure if it's from the cold or from fear. Cantu approaches me with a gentle yet firm expression. "Mr. Harper, I'm Detective Cantu." She introduces herself, extending a hand. Her grip is steady, and I realize mine is trembling. "I'm so sorry about what's happening. We're going to do everything we can to find your daughter." Her words are well-intentioned, but I catch the cautious tone beneath them. So far, they have no idea where Abby is or who took her. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Thank you," I manage, my voice husky. She glances at the open window of Abby's room and the cluster of officers and CSI technicians now hovering around it, photographing and collecting samples. "I need to ask a few more questions to clarify things," she says. "Let's sit, if you're feeling up to it." We take 2 wicker chairs on the porch. The morning sun is climbing, casting long rays across the quiet street. I can see neighbours further down talking in worried huddles. News travels fast in Crescent Falls, and a police presence like this is impossible to miss. A few folks look our way. I imagine by day's end, everyone in town will know Abby is missing. Detective Cantu flips open a small notebook. "You told the responding officers about an argument last night," she begins gently. "Can you walk me through exactly when you last saw or spoke to Abby and anything unusual overnight?" I recount it as steadily as I can. How around 10 p.m. Abby and I argued about her wanting to go out. My voice falters as I admit I forbade her from going to a friend's gathering on a school night and grounded her. I mentioned she slammed her door and we didn't speak after that. I thought she stayed in her room all night. I checked once around midnight before I went to bed. This isn't entirely true. I had hovered outside her door wanting to apologize, but her light was off and I assumed she was asleep or ignoring me. I neglect to mention the 2 fingers of whiskey I downed to calm my anger and regret. It's not relevant, I tell myself, though guilt surges anew. I didn't physically see her, but I heard nothing unusual then. Cantu scribbles notes. "And you didn't hear anything else during the night? Any sounds of a struggle, doors, voices?" Her tone is neutral, but I sense the underlying question. How could someone take your daughter without you hearing? I squeeze my eyes shut, combing through hazy memories of the night. I was fitful on the couch, the TV on low to distract my racing mind. I might have dozed off around 1 a.m. At one point I thought I heard a thump or a scream. I paused, that recollection surfacing like a dark fish in a pond. Had I really heard something? In the fog of sleep I'd half-registered a noise outside. I remember muting the TV for a moment, heart quickening, but when silence followed I dismissed it as a cat knocking over a trash can or perhaps an echo from a dream. I wasn't sure if it was real. It was very brief and I didn't hear anything after, so I convinced myself it was nothing. Detective Cantu's pen stops. She meets my eyes. "What time was that? Do you recall?" "Maybe around 1:30 in the morning," I reply, voice barely above a whisper. Saying it aloud makes my chest constrict. If that was Abby, if she cried out and I did nothing, I clamp a hand over my mouth as a sob tries to escape. "I should have checked," I say hoarsely. God, I should have. Cantu gently interrupts, leaning forward. "Mr. Harper, don't blame yourself. You had no way of knowing. What's important now is we use every clue." That time frame helps. It suggests the abduction likely occurred sometime around then. She writes it down. I nod numbly, the word abduction making my stomach lurch. We also need to consider if Abby left on her own at first. Cantu continues carefully. The open window could indicate she snuck out. Is that something she might do? Especially after an argument? Her question hangs in the crisp air. Would she? Abby has never run away before, but she has snuck out once or twice to meet friends, each time caught quickly and disciplined. But last night, she was so angry, and I was so harsh. It's possible, I rub my temples. It's possible she might have snuck out to go to that party or to cool off. She's a good kid, detective, but she's headstrong, and I was too hard on her last night. Cantu nods, absorbing this. What about that party? Where and with whom? Did she mention any names, a location? I rack my memory. She said it was just a small gathering at a friend's house. I think she mentioned Megan, her best friend, and maybe some others. She didn't give an address. I didn't let it get that far. I just told her no outright. I grimace, hearing the stubbornness in my own tone from last night echo now. Megan's a close friend. They're usually honest with each other. If Abby was planning something, Megan might know. Cantu jots the name down. We'll definitely speak to her. What's Megan's full name? Megan Ryder. She lives 2 streets over on Pine Drive. Her mom, Carol, and I are acquainted. I rub my face, which feels stiff and cold. She's a good kid, too. If anyone knows what Abby was thinking last night, it'd be Megan. The detective looks up as another officer approaches. A K9 unit has arrived. A lean German shepherd is already sniffing around the side of the house under the guidance of a handler. Cantu stands. Mr. Harper, we're deploying a tracking dog to follow Abby's scent from the bedroom. We have one of her unwashed sweaters from the laundry for the dog to scent. It's possible the trail could lead us beyond the yard. I need you to remain here on the property while we do that. All right? In case we find something or if Abby returns home on her own. The idea of Abby just walking back home is both absurd and tantalizing. I latch onto it for a second, imagining her emerging from the trees, frightened but alive, running into my arms. But I know better. Whoever left that blood took her away. Okay, I say quietly. I'll stay. If the dog finds anything, I can't finish. Cantu gives a tight, reassuring nod and strides off to join the K9 team. I watch the dog and handler move systematically from the window across the backyard and toward the tree line. The dog strains at its leash, nose to the ground. For a moment, hope surges in me. Maybe they'll find a trail, tracks, something. I hover near the back fence, about 20 yards behind the officers, careful not to interfere, but unable to sit still. The backyard borders a strip of woods that runs behind our neighborhood. It's a tangle of red-orange maple leaves and evergreen shrubs out there, the underbrush thick. I recall how Abby and her friends would sometimes explore these woods during the day, looking for a rumored old well, or just enjoying the pretend wilderness. Now those same woods feel menacing, possibly complicit in hiding whoever took her. The dog whuffs and pulls toward a narrow path where the grass is pressed down. I recognize that spot, between 2 sugar maples where the fence has a gap. Neighborhood kids often slip through to hang out in the woods or take a shortcut to the next street. The handler signals and ducks under a low branch, following the dog. 2 officers follow with hands on their holsters, eyes scanning the ground. Minutes stretch. I realize I'm holding my breath as the search party disappears further into the trees, voices crackling over the radio as they communicate with others posted on the next street over. I catch bits and pieces. Scent is strong. Passing the creek bed. Copy that. Tracking northeast, approaching Miller's Park. At that, my ears prick up. Miller's Park is only a half-mile away through these woods, a tiny public space with a swing set and a single picnic table, where kids sometimes hang out after dark away from prying parent eyes. Abby swore she wasn't going there last night, but could she have gone anyway? I pace by the fence. In my pocket, my phone buzzes. Only now do I realize I left it on silent after calling 911. I yank it out, hoping for some news or even a message from Abby. Instead, I see a string of texts and missed calls, from co-workers who heard something happened, from Carol Ryder, Megan's mom, asking if I need anything, and one from my closest friend, Tom, simply, "Rick, I just heard. I'm coming over now. Tom. I'd completely forgotten to call him, but of course he would find out quickly in this town. Relief and apprehension war in my chest. I'm grateful he'll be here. I could use the support. But I also dread the pity in his eyes. This kind of thing either brings people closer or drives a wedge of awkwardness. Tom and I have known each other since high school. He was my rock when my wife died, practically an uncle to Abby. If there's anyone I can fall apart in front of and not feel judged, it's him. I shoot back a quick text with trembling fingers. Thanks, I'm home. Police here. Hurry. When I look up again, I see Detective Cantu and the others returning from the woods. My heart leaps into my throat. The dog is still alert, but I can tell by their faces they haven't found Abby. Still, they look like they found something. I stride across the yard to meet them. Did the dog find her? Did you find anything? I ask, voice barely controlled. Cantu holds up a hand to calm me. Her expression is cautious. The dog tracked her scent to Miller's Park, she says. He lost the trail near the parking area there. She hesitates, then continues, We found a bicycle near the tree line by the park. It's Abby's, isn't it? My eyes widen. Bicycle? Abby's bike? Abby's old blue Schwinn. She uses it often around town. We keep it in the garage, and I hadn't even noticed this morning in my panic that it was missing. She must have taken it to sneak out. I nod quickly, anxiety spiking. Yes, hers is light blue with a white basket. Oh God, she did go out. She rode to the park? I can't bring myself to finish the question. Did something happen to her there? Cantu reads my unspoken question. There are signs she was at the park. The bike was hidden behind some bushes off the main path. We also found her sneaker nearby. She signals an officer behind her who steps forward and carefully holds out an evidence bag. Inside is a single shoe, black canvas with a white sole. I recognize it immediately. Abby wore those almost every day. The breath whooshes out of my lungs as if I've been punched. It was lying on the ground by the swings, Cantu says softly. There were scuff marks in the dirt there. It looks like there might have been a struggle. We're securing the area and calling in additional units to search around the park thoroughly. I stare at the shoe, my mind blanking except for a mental image of Abby's feet dangling, one shoe missing. I stagger and have to brace myself against the fence. Tom's voice suddenly cuts through the roaring in my ears. Easy, Rick, I got you. I flinch in surprise as Tom appears at my side, catching my elbow before I can fall. I hadn't even heard him arrive. I turn to see his familiar face, round, flushed from rushing over, concern etched in his brow. He's wearing a blue flannel and jeans, as if he threw on the first thing he could find. There's a smear of something dark on his forearm, maybe grease from his old truck. Tom. I croak, my throat constricting. I want to say so much, explain, apologize for being a mess, but all that comes is a choke of despair as I gesture to the evidence bag. They found her bike and her shoe. My voice breaks. His brown eyes fill with alarm and sorrow. Jesus, he breathes, pulling me into a quick, fierce hug. He smells of soap and the lingering bite of autumn air. Rick, I'm so sorry. This is unreal. What do they know? He asks, directing the last question toward Detective Cantu as he keeps a steadying arm around my back. Cantu nods a brief greeting to him, then addresses us both. It appears Abby left home on her own, likely around midnight or later, on her bicycle. She went to Miller's Park. We have evidence of a struggle at the park and indications she was taken from there, likely in a vehicle, since the trail ends at the parking lot. It's looking like an abduction by person or persons unknown at this point. She speaks clinically, but I can hear the empathy under her professionalism. I sag against the fence, feeling Tom's hand tighten on my shoulder as if to transfer me strength. We should never have fought, I whisper, voice trembling. If I hadn't upset her, she wouldn't have gone out. It's an agony to voice my guilt, but it spills out in front of my friend. Tom shakes his head fiercely. No, Rick, you can't think like that. You had no way of knowing this would happen. The blame lies with whoever did this, not you. His tone is firm, almost scolding, and I look up at him. There's anger in his face, righteous, protective anger, but also something else, a flicker of pain. It mirrors my own feelings, I assume. He's always been protective of Abby. Detective Cantu clears her throat gently. Mr. Harper, I know this is incredibly hard. Right now, what we need to focus on is finding Abby and identifying who took her. We'll have more units canvassing the park area for any witnesses or security cameras on nearby streets. We will also need to talk to Abby's friends, like Megan, to piece together her plan last night. Perhaps she confided in someone about meeting anybody. She glances at Tom, perhaps unsure who he is. I sniff hard and pull myself upright, wiping my eyes. This is Tom Willis, I say, voice heavy. My close friend, practically family. Tom gives the detective a curt nod. I'm so sorry this happened, Tom says to her, voice tight. If there's anything I can do to help, I'm here for Rick and for Abby. Cantu half smiles appreciatively. Support is crucial. Perhaps you could help by staying with Mr. Harper, make sure he eats, rests when possible, and if either of you think of anything, even something small, let us know immediately. Tom pats my back. Of course, I'll take care of him. Then he adds, looking at me, why don't we sit down for a minute, Rick? You look like you're about to keel over. I'll get you some water. I don't want to sit. I want to be on my feet, doing something, but the adrenaline of the morning is ebbing, leaving me lightheaded and shaky. Maybe just for a moment, I concede. Tom guides me to the porch steps, and I slump down. My hands are filthy, dirt from gripping the fence, maybe Abby's blood still under my nails. I stare at them blankly until Tom returns with a bottle of water from my kitchen. He must have let himself in. He's comfortable here. He unscrews the cap and presses the cool plastic into my hand. Drink, he urges softly. I take a sip, the water lukewarm but wetting my parched throat. Around us the activity continues. Officers coming and going, radio chatter, a detective talking on a phone about issuing an Amber Alert. I catch pieces. 16-year-old female, brown hair, about 5'4". Last seen Miller's Park, suspect vehicle unknown. Each word drives home how real and terrible this is. I lower the bottle and look at Tom. They think some stranger grabbed her, I say, voice hollow. Tom nods grimly. It sounds like it. Some sicko passing through, maybe. His jaw clenches. This town, you think you know everyone, but there's always someone out there who can hurt you. There's a bitterness in his tone that surprises me. It's true, though, Crescent Falls feels so safe, but monsters can come from outside, or even inside. A dark thought whispers, though I have no reason to suspect anyone we know. The idea that it could be someone local, someone familiar, is too horrifying to entertain. Detective Cantu approaches us again, her phone in hand. Mr. Harper, Carol Ryder and her daughter Megan are here. They came to the station when we called, and I asked an officer to bring them over to speak with you and us. Would that be okay? I think hearing from Megan directly might help us get clarity on what Abby was planning. I sit up straighter, wiping my face quickly. Yes, of course, please. Anxiety and hope intertwine. Maybe Megan knows exactly who Abby was meeting. Within a couple of minutes, a black sedan pulls up behind the police tape. I see Carol Ryder step out first, her face pale and distressed. Megan emerges from the other side, eyes red from crying. Megan is a petite girl with curly blonde hair. Usually she's all smiles at our house, but now she looks terrified. I stand unsteadily as they approach. Carol rushes to me, immediately wrapping me in a hug. "Oh, Rick, I'm so sorry," she whispers shakily. "We came as soon as we heard. I can't believe this. What do you need? Anything at all? We're here." She releases me, and I see tears in her kind eyes. Megan stands slightly behind her mom, twisting her fingers. When I meet her gaze, she bursts into fresh sobs. "Mr. Harper, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," she cries. My heart cracks at her guilt-ridden face. I gently pull her into a hug, her shoulders shaking. Hey, it's not your fault, Meg," I soothe, though my voice trembles too. "None of this is your fault. I'm just glad you're here." Over her head, I see Tom hovering a few steps away, hands in his pockets, face drawn. After a moment, Detective Cantu steps in. "Why don't we all sit for a bit?" she suggests softly. We gather on the porch, Carol beside me, holding her daughter's hand, Cantu on the railing, Tom standing just off to the side. Another officer, a young man with a notepad, stands by to take notes. Cantu addresses Megan kindly. "Megan, I know this is really hard, but anything you can tell us about last night could help find Abby. Can you do that for us?" Megan sniffles and nods, wiping her nose on her sleeve. "Yeah." She looks at me, eyes brimming. I swear I didn't know something bad would happen, Mr. Harper. If I did, I would have told someone. I thought she was just mad at you and wanted to hang out or something. I manage a faint, reassuring smile I don't feel. I understand. Just tell us what you know, sweetie. Megan takes a shaky breath. Abby texted me around 11 last night. She was really upset about the fight we two had. She said she was going to sneak out. Megan's voice hitches and Carol rubs her back. I told her not to, that maybe you'd cool down by morning, but she was so angry and hurt. She said she felt like you didn't trust her at all. Megan glances at me apologetically. Pain lances through me, another dagger of guilt, but I nod for her to continue. She asked if I could meet her at Miller's Park, Megan continues. Just to talk, but my mom was already asleep and I was scared to sneak out. I told her I couldn't go. I suggested maybe we meet early before school at the diner instead, but she didn't want to wait. Fresh tears spilled down Megan's cheeks. Then she said maybe she'd meet up with him instead since she was sneaking out anyway. Cantu leans forward slightly. Him? Did she say who? Megan nods, biting her lip. She'd been talking to this guy online for a few weeks. She met him on Instagram, I think. His name was, well, he said his name was Brandon. He was supposedly 17, from Brinkley, the next town over. They messaged a lot recently. She was kind of secretive about it at first, but then she told me a few days ago that they'd been flirting and wanted to meet up. My hands clench into fists on my knees. Abby never mentioned anyone named Brandon. The idea of some stranger from another town chatting her up makes my skin crawl. Did she ever show you his picture or messages? I ask, trying to keep my tone calm. Megan nods quickly and pulls out her phone. She sent me a screenshot of his profile picture once, like asking me if I thought he was cute. I saved it. Her fingers tremble as she scrolls through her photos. Then she turns the phone to show Detective Cantu and me, peering over. On the screen is a photo of a teenage boy, brown hair, square jaw, a confident smile, clearly a picture that could have been lifted from anywhere. My gut tells me it's not real, or not him. Abby, what were you getting into? Cantu takes the phone gently. We'll make a copy of this image and any relevant messages, okay? Megan sniffles an okay. The detective continues. So Abby mentioned she might meet this Brandon last night? Did she say where? Miller's Park? Megan hugs herself. She said Brandon could drive and that he'd offered to meet her. At first, they talked about meeting at the shopping centre parking lot, but Abby was nervous about that because it's well lit and sometimes the deputy patrols there at night. So she suggested Miller's Park because it's closer to our houses and usually empty at night. Megan squeezes her eyes shut, a tear slipping down. I told her it was a bad idea to meet a stranger alone, but she thought she knew him. She was excited and mad and not thinking straight, I guess. When I said I couldn't come with her, she just said, fine, I'll be careful, don't worry. The last text I got from her was around 11:45 saying she was leaving on her bike to meet him by the swings. A soft cry escapes my lips. Tom curses under his breath. Carol closes her eyes in anguish, arms wrapped around her daughter. Megan looks at me, panicked. I swear, Mr. Harper, if I'd known, I should have gone with her, or told you. But she was my best friend and she begged me not to say anything. I thought it'd just be... I didn't think. She dissolves into sobs. I feel tears burning in my own eyes. I reach out and hold Megan's hand between mine. Megan, listen to me. I say, voice thick. You couldn't have known. Abby made a choice. We all make choices, sometimes bad ones. I did too, by yelling at her. None of this is your fault, okay? I'm so grateful you told us now. This is going to help us find her. I hope I'm not lying to her. She nods, wiping her face. I saved the chats she sent me about him, and the screenshot. You can have them. I just want her back. Her face crumples again, and Carol squeezes her shoulders. Detective Cantu signals the young officer to collect Megan's phone for data extraction. He steps aside with Carol to handle that gently. Meanwhile, Cantu looks at me and Tom. This gives us a solid lead. It appears Abby went to meet this Brandon at the park, and whoever that actually is likely took her. The profile could be fake. Probably is, given the circumstances. We'll get our tech folks to trace it, and I'll alert the county sheriff and state police about the vehicle. Megan, did Abby ever mention what he drives? Megan shakes her head. No. I don't think so. She didn't know. He just said he'd pick her up. Cantu sighs. Okay, we'll see if any traffic cameras picked up cars leaving town late last night. It's a long shot in a place this small, but there's one near the highway on-ramp. She turns to me, expression resolute. Mr. Harper, this is now clearly a criminal investigation. We're treating it as an abduction by an online predator. I've called in the state police for assistance and an FBI liaison as well, since this crosses into cyber territory and potentially across state lines if he takes her far. FBI. The acronym washes over me with cold reality, yet a strange relief. The cavalry is coming, but will it be in time? I nod numbly. Thank you, I whisper. Tom has been quiet beside me, his hand still on my shoulder. He now speaks up, voice low and bristling with anger. So some internet creep tricks a 16-year-old and snatches her. Sick bastard. They better find him fast. His voice has a tremor that could be rage or fear, maybe both. I glance at him and he's staring off toward the woods, jaw tight. I realize he's likely imagining, as I am, what horrors this person might be inflicting on Abby right now. The thought makes me want to tear out of my skin. We will find him, Cantu says. She stands, giving instructions to the officer with Megan's phone to forward everything to their tech unit. She then addresses Carol and Megan gently. Thank you both. Carol, why don't you take Megan home? We might need to speak with her again later, but for now, you've helped a great deal. Carol nods and helps Megan up. I rise and hug them both, expressing my gratitude in a voice choked with emotion. Megan whispers, I'm sorry, once more, and I just pat her head softly. When they depart, it's just me, Tom, and the detective again on the porch. The morning has worn on. It's nearly noon by the slant of the sun. My body feels like I've lived a year in the span of a few hours. Cantu closes her notebook. Mr. Harper, I have to head back to the station to coordinate the next steps. We're issuing an Amber Alert now, and we'll have a press briefing soon to get the information out publicly. You can come to the station, or if you prefer, you can stay here with your friend. We'll have an officer posted nearby in case you need anything, and I'll be in touch with updates as soon as I have them. Also, she hesitates, looking at me with an unreadable expression. I have to ask, as a routine question, are you comfortable with Mr. Willis staying with you? I only ask because in abduction cases, statistically, it's usually someone the victim knows, even a family friend. This sounds like a different scenario, but I want to make sure you're safe and comfortable with everyone around you. It takes me a second to process that she's asking if I trust Tom. The notion is almost absurd. Of course I do. He's like a brother to me. Yet her professionalism prompts the briefest flicker of doubt. No, not doubt in Tom, but shock at the reminder that sometimes monsters wear familiar faces. But Tom has been here for me for years. He's the one holding me upright right now. I trust Tom with my life, I say firmly, looking over at him. He offers me a faint smile and squeezes my arm in solidarity. He loved Abby like his own. There's no one I'd rather have here now. Detective Cantu seems satisfied. Understood. We just have to consider every angle. If either of you recall anything else at all, call me immediately. She hands me her card, and I slip it into my pocket with a promise to call if I think of anything, no matter how small. As she walks away to her car, Tom guides me back inside the house. The living room is still and quiet, the only sound the ticking of the clock and the distant chatter of police outside. I suddenly feel utterly drained, my legs rubbery. I collapse onto the couch. Tom sits beside me. For a long moment, we just sit in silence. I stare at the pattern of dust motes swirling in a shaft of light that cuts through the drawn curtains. Abby's absence fills every corner of the room. Her backpack still leans against the side table where she dumped it yesterday after school, oblivious to how the night would unfold. On the couch cushion next to me, a fringe from her favourite throw blanket is caught on a button, a blanket she'd wrap around her while watching movies here. I feel a sob climbing up, but I grit my teeth against it. If I start now, I might never stop. Instead, I turn to Tom. I can't just sit here doing nothing, I say, voice raw. I know the police are working, but I feel like I'm going crazy just waiting. Tom nods slowly. I get it. I'd feel the same way. He runs a hand through his hair, which is messy, like he left in a rush. Maybe there's something we can do. People we could talk to around town? The detective will handle most of it, but maybe someone saw a car near the park last night. I could ask around quietly. His suggestion gives me a tiny spark of purpose. That's a thought. I rub my face, trying to think clearly. Also, her laptop. The police didn't take it yet, did they? It's still in her room. Maybe there's something on it. Chats, emails about this Brandon. They have her phone and some stuff from Megan, but maybe Abby saved something or had notes. Tom looks toward the hallway. You sure you're up for going in there? In her room? His concern is evident. He knows stepping back into that room will hurt. But I'll crawl over broken glass if it helps find her. I push myself to my feet. I have to. Will you come with me? He stands with me. Of course. Together we walk down the hall. The police have finished their on-site work, it seems. Abby's bedroom doorway is dusted with fingerprint powder, and yellow evidence markers dot the carpet where the bloodstains are. They've taken samples, but the dark patch remains like an ugly shadow on the floor. I swallow hard and step inside, Tom right behind. The room is just as I left it earlier, minus Abby. Sunlight spills through the still open window now, and a faint breeze stirs the curtains. I shiver, remembering the metallic smell that had filled the air before. It's faded a bit now, replaced by the chemical tang of whatever the crime scene techs used to treat the bloodstains. Tom stands silently near the door as I move to her desk. My hands hover over the closed laptop. It's a slim silver model, a birthday gift from me last year. How many nights did she stay up writing papers or chatting with friends on this thing? I open the lid. The screen wakes, asking for a password. My heart sinks momentarily. I don't know it. I curse under my breath. Any guess? Tom asks quietly. I chew my lip. Abby sometimes used our dog's name for things when we had a dog years ago, or maybe her favorite band. But she's gotten more privacy conscious lately. I'm not sure. Could try her birthday or Pumpkin. That was her childhood cat's name. I try a couple of simple ones. Her birth date, her name. No luck. After 2 attempts, I stop, fearing it'll lock me out after too many. Tom steps forward. Maybe the police tech can get in later. They have ways. I nod, frustrated. He's right, I'm just impatient. My eyes drift over her desk. Notebooks, sketch pad, she loves drawing, a few gel pens, and her journal. A small spiral-bound notebook with a purple cover lies partly hidden under a teen fashion magazine. Gently, I slide it out. It's partially concealed, as if she wanted to keep it private but not too hidden. I hesitate, thumb on the cover. Her diary. Tom's voice is soft. You don't have to read it, but maybe there's something helpful. I swallow. Part of me feels like an intruder on her thoughts, but another part screams that nothing is off limits if it might lead to her. With shaking hands, I open it. The pages are filled with her looping handwriting, little hearts dotting the I's. I flip through recent entries, skimming for any mention of Brandon or sneaking out. One entry from 2 weeks ago. There's this guy. I haven't told Dad, he'd freak. But he's really nice to me, calls me beautiful, and we talk about music and stuff. I feel seen. Megan thinks I should be careful, but I'm tired of being the careful good girl. My breath catches. God, Abby. Another entry from just a few days back. I wish Mom were here. Dad is trying, but sometimes I feel so alone. Tom came over for dinner. He's sweet, but he looks at me funny lately. Maybe I'm just imagining it. I'm almost 17. I'm not a little kid. But the way he hugged me tonight made my skin crawl for some reason. Why am I writing this? Tom's like family. I'm being stupid. Brandon said I'm mature for my age. He's the only one who really gets it. I freeze. A cold shock runs through me as if I've been doused in ice water. I reread that paragraph. The way he hugged me tonight made my skin crawl. Tom's like family. I'm being stupid. My mouth goes dry. I glance over my shoulder at Tom, who stands patiently by the door, looking down at the broken mug shards on the floor, avoiding the bloodstain. He notices me looking and meets my eyes. Find anything? He asks quietly. I quickly shut the journal, my mind reeling. Did Abby feel uneasy around Tom? A teenage girl uncomfortable with a family friend's affection. It could be nothing. She even wrote she thought she was being stupid. Maybe Tom just gave her an awkward uncle-like squeeze. Or maybe Abby's instincts were right and she brushed them off. My heart thunders. No, it can't be. Not Tom. I've known him most of my life. He was there through my darkest days. He loves Abby. He would never. But a seed of dread has planted itself in my stomach, blossoming with every passing second. A week ago, Abby felt uneasy with him, and now, could this all somehow connect? It seems too far-fetched. That Tom posed as an online stranger? Catfished Abby? Abducted her? My rational mind recoils at the idea. Yet I can't ignore the uncanny confluence of things. He was quick to arrive, intimately involved in everything. The detective's caution about friends echoes in my ears. I must have gone silent for a beat too long because Tom steps closer. Rick, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I force a smile, hoping it doesn't look as strained as it feels. Yeah. It's just hard reading her private thoughts. I slide the journal into my pocket impulsively. I'm not even sure why, but a part of me wants it out of Tom's sight. If there's any chance, if I'm not crazy and it is relevant, I need to keep this to myself for now until I can think it through. Tom nods sympathetically. Maybe that's enough for now. Let's head back to the living room. He glances around. This room, it's a lot. I realize he's right. My head is spinning and standing here is making me physically ill. Yeah, okay, I mutter, stepping away from the desk. We exit and I gently close Abby's door behind us, sealing that sanctuary of hers now marred by violence. As I do, I catch Tom glancing at the doorknob area, where a faint brown smudge of fingerprint powder remains. His eyes follow it for a moment before he turns away. We return to the living room. Outside, I see the uniformed officer Detective Cantu promised, positioned by a squad car across the street, watching the house, presumably to deter any suspect from approaching or to be on hand if I need help. The presence is both reassuring and disturbing. Tom heads into the kitchen. I'll make us some sandwiches or something, Rick. You need to eat. Food is the last thing on my mind, but he has a point. I'm running on fumes. All right. I concede quietly, sinking into my armchair, the same one I sat in last night while Abby curled on the couch, ignoring me. A wave of sorrow crashes over me. As Tom busies himself in the kitchen, banging cupboards and assembling what sounds like bread and cold cuts, my eyes wander to the mantel where our family photo stands. Tom's gaze follows mine. That was a good day, he comments softly, nodding at the picture of me and Abby at Crescent Lake from years ago. The best, I murmur. My mind drifts to that warm afternoon, Abby squealing as I gave her a piggyback in the water, my wife Lily laughing and snapping the shot. She's just outside the frame, but so alive in my memory. Tom was there that day too with the church group picnic. He sighs. She's a strong girl, Rick. She'll hold on. We just have to find her. His words are encouraging, and I want to fully believe them. But part of me, call it intuition, call it paranoia born of panic, wants to turn and confront Tom right now with the diary entry. Demand he tell me if he ever felt anything for Abby beyond platonic affection. It feels insane even considering it, yet my mind continues poking at the idea like a sore tooth. What if Tom is Brandon? Could he have created a fake account? He is in his mid-30s, relatively tech-savvy, but more importantly, he had opportunity and knowledge. He knows me and Abby's life intimately, enough to craft lies that would appeal to her. Was he around last night? He lives only a couple blocks away. Did anyone see his truck out late? Stop. This is Tom, the guy who helped fix my roof last spring, who hosts game nights at his house, who cried with me at my wife's funeral. He is not a monster. Yet, neither of us truly touches our food when he returns with sandwiches. I take a few mechanical bites to appease him. He does the same. I catch Tom studying me a couple times, as if gauging my state of mind. I realize I might be acting odd, distracted, fidgety, one hand stuffed in my pocket around Abby's journal. To break the tension, I stand up. I need some air, I say abruptly. Tom puts down his plate and starts to rise. Do you want me to come? I shake my head, attempting a casual tone. No, it's okay. I'll just be on the porch. I won't go far. I manage a faint smile. Maybe the officer out front can update me if they've heard anything. Tom gives me a searching look, then relents. All right. I'll clean up here. I'll be right inside if you need me. I step outside, letting the screen door close behind me. The midday sun is bright, but carries little warmth. The autumn air has a chill. I inhale deeply, hoping to clear my head. Across the street, the uniformed officer catches my eye. He steps over. Mr. Harper, how are you holding up? Anything you need? His name tag reads O'Neill. I shake my head. No, I'm hanging in. Any news from Detective Cantu? He offers a regretful smile. Not yet. They've put out the Amber Alert. It's on the radio now, and they've got troopers canvassing along the highway. We've got available units on this. He pauses, then lowers his voice. Between you and me, we've never seen anything like this here. Everyone's pretty shaken up. We're all pulling for your daughter. My throat tightens. Thank you. After a moment, he returns to his watchful position, respecting my space. I rub my hands together, trying to think. If I entertain this crazy notion about Tom, what should I do? Confronting him directly, if I'm wrong, would be a terrible insult and could damage our friendship at an already awful time. If I'm right, confronting him could be dangerous for me and for Abby if she's in his custody somewhere. A creeping thought. If Tom did this, where would he have taken her? Tom lives alone since his divorce, in a house not far. But police would maybe suspect a known person and search his place eventually, though so far they haven't indicated he's a suspect. Could she be somewhere else? Tom has a workshop out at his late father's farm outside town. I recall he goes there occasionally to tinker or hunt. It's remote, old, maybe a place no one would quickly check. He even took me out there once for target practice. There's an old root cellar, a chill runs through me. I need more than a teenage girl's uneasy feeling to go on. I need something more concrete to either dispel this ugly suspicion or confirm it. As if in answer, the universe presents me with something. I notice Tom's truck parked hastily down the block, since police cars occupy the curb directly in front. It's an old green Ford pickup, well known around here. From my vantage on the porch, I can see its front fender clearly, and that's when I see it. The fender is dented and scratched on the right side, with a smear of rust red. Something on it. Could be paint transfer or blood. My heart kicks. That damage looks fresh. I swear it wasn't there a week ago when Tom helped me haul lumber. Could he have hit something last night? Or someone? Maybe Abby if she ran? No, please no. Or maybe he struck an animal in the woods. I realize I'm staring intensely enough that Officer O'Neill follows my gaze. Something wrong, sir? He asks, stepping closer to look where I'm looking. I seize on an excuse. That's my friend's truck. That dent. I don't remember seeing that before. Do you mind checking it out? I keep my face as neutral as possible. The officer nods, perhaps thinking it's a welcome distraction or just being thorough. Sure, I can take a look. He strolls down the street toward the truck. I stay on the porch, heart pounding, watching from afar as he inspects the front. He bends, peers, even touches the reddish smear. He glances back at me briefly, then continues around out of my sight to check the rest. After a minute or two, he returns. My palms are sweaty. Well? I ask, trying to sound merely curious. Officer O'Neill frowns slightly. Definitely recent collision damage. That rust-coloured smear could be old dried blood, honestly. Hard to tell out here. Could be an animal he hit. There's some fur or fibres caught in the grill too. I feel faint. Animal, maybe. Sure, people hit deer or raccoons often enough. Tom hunts deer sometimes. Perhaps he transported a carcass. But he hasn't been hunting yet this season, and likely wouldn't just plough into one with his truck on purpose. I don't suppose we can tell if it's from last night? I ask carefully. He shakes his head. Not without analysing it. Do you want me to ask your friend about it? The officer's expression is earnest, unaware of the war in my mind. If I say yes, Tom will know I'm looking at him sideways. If he's innocent, I'd offend him deeply. If he's guilty, I'd tip him off that I'm onto him. Neither is good. I quickly backpedal. No, it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing. He would have said if he hit something. Maybe it happened earlier and I just didn't notice. Thanks, though. I attempt a weak smile. O'Neill nods, seemingly unfazed. All right, if you're sure. I'm here if you need anything. He retreats to give me privacy again, though I notice he casts another glance at the truck, perhaps making a mental note. I go back inside, legs trembling. Tom is washing up plates in the sink. The sound of running water stops as I shut the door. You okay? He calls, stepping out with a dish towel in hand. I force a neutral expression. Yeah, officer just updated me. Amber Alert's out. They're searching highways, that kind of thing. I study him as I speak. Does he look tenser, or is it my imagination? He nods. Good. The more eyes looking, the better. I rub my arms. Tom, I was thinking, maybe we should drive out to that old farm of yours where your dad lived. You know, just to see if maybe he took her that way. It's remote. Tom's brow furrows. The farm? That's like 20 miles out. Why would he go there? And how would he know about it? Not many do, except... He stops. I feel sweat on my neck. Did I just reveal my hand? I scramble for a cover. I don't know, I was just grasping at straws. It has a lot of empty land around. If I were a kidnapper looking to hide, I just thought of it. I try to chuckle, but it sounds forced. Silly, I guess. Tom studies me for a long moment. The afternoon light through the window casts half his face in shadow, half in warm glow. His eyes are dark, unreadable. I suddenly remember those same eyes brimming with tears the day Lily died, him promising to watch over me and Abby always. Now I can't tell what they hold. Then he steps forward and places a hand on my shoulder. I flinch before I can stop myself. His grip is firm, friendly, but I tense. "Rick," he says quietly, "you're exhausted. You're not thinking straight. Maybe you should lie down, even just for an hour. I'll keep watch and wake you if there's any news, okay?" His suggestion is gentle, but I hear something else. Perhaps a desire to get me to drop the subject of the farm. Or truly just concern. My heart beats wildly. Sleep. How could I possibly? But maybe pretending to rest could give me time to think without him hovering. Or if he thinks I'm asleep, what might he do? Maybe that's not a bad idea. If he is guilty, perhaps he'd check on Abby or something while I sleep. But no, he's unlikely to leave me alone now. He wouldn't risk me calling police with suspicions, unless he still thinks I have none. I nod slowly. Maybe you're right. I feel like I'm running on empty. That at least is not a lie. His face softens. "Go lie down in your room. I'll be right here. If any call comes, I'll get you immediately." I hesitate. Part of me doesn't want to be away from watching him. But maybe I can use this. All right, maybe just a short rest. Would you mind checking if the police need anything while I do? I feel bad just hiding in my room. He waves it off. "They want you to take care of yourself. I'll step out and chat with O'Neill, see if there's news. Don't worry about a thing." I force myself to turn and walk down the hall, feeling his eyes on me until I go into my bedroom. I close the door most of the way, but leave it open a crack. My heart hammers. If he goes outside, that might give me a chance to, say, peek in his truck or find his phone, something. I sink onto my bed, ears straining. Sure enough, after a minute, I hear the front door open and click shut. I rush back to the door crack and peer out. No one in the living room. Through the front window, I see Tom crossing the yard toward Officer O'Neill. This is my chance. I slip out of my bedroom, adrenaline giving me energy. I quietly grab my keys from the hook by the front door. One is a spare to Tom's house. He gave me one long ago, and I'd forgotten to return it after watering his plants last month while he was on a trip. I pocket it, just in case. Then I scurry out the side door that leads to the driveway, out of sight from the front yard. I jog down the side of the house and crouch behind my hedge, glimpsing Tom chatting casually with O'Neill. Tom's back is to me, the officer facing my way, but he's distracted. I dart down the street the opposite direction, looping around the block so I can approach his truck from behind, using other cars as cover. My heart is in my throat. I feel certain at any moment someone will yell at me to stop, but this quiet suburban street holds its breath. Reaching the truck's driver's side, I carefully try the handle. Locked. Figures. I peer in through the window. On the passenger seat, I see a smear of something dark on the upholstery. Dried blood? There's also a brown duffel bag I recognize as Tom's gym bag. And on the floorboard, is that a length of rope? It might be. My blood runs cold. This is evidence. I pull out my phone and take a quick photo through the glass, hoping it's clear enough. My hands are shaking. I slip around to the front and dip a finger to that stain on the fender. It's reddish-brown, flaking. Could definitely be blood. Possibly animal. Possibly not. I wipe it on my jeans absent-mindedly. Ducking down, I debate opening the truck with my spare key fob. Tom gave me one to borrow the truck ages ago. Do I still have it? Yes, a little black fob. If I click it, though, the lights flash and maybe the horn chirps. Too risky to alert him. Maybe I can come back later under cover of darkness or send an anonymous tip for police to search it. But if Tom is guilty, waiting could cost Abby's life. And if he's innocent, an anonymous tip on him would be a huge betrayal. I feel in over my head. I'm no detective. I'm just a desperate father. For now, I hurry away the way I came, looping back and trying to look casual as I stroll from a different direction toward my house. Tom is still speaking with the officer, smoking a cigarette now. He only does that under stress. I slip back inside via the side door and go to my bedroom just as I left it. A minute later, I hear the front door open and Tom's footsteps. He checks on me. I quickly lie on the bed and shut my eyes mostly, peering through my lashes. The door creaks open softly. I see his silhouette. He stands there, probably checking if I'm asleep. I keep my breathing slow and steady, though my heart gallops. After a moment, he closes the door. I hear nothing for a bit. Did he leave? Then a floorboard creaks. Maybe he's right outside the door. Is he suspicious of me now? I stay put for what feels like an eternity, but is likely only 5 minutes. Finally, I hear the TV in the living room turn on. He must have decided to let me rest and pass the time. I sit up, quietly exhaling. I need to talk to Detective Cantu, but she's not here. If I call, Tom might overhear. Maybe I can slip away to the station, but he or the officer would see, unless I make an excuse. Or I confront him armed. There's a gun locked in my safe, my old hunting rifle. But if I'm wrong, no. And one man with a rifle against a friend, I can't do that, not yet. I look at my phone. I do have Cantu's number. I could text her discreetly. I type out a shaky message. Detective Cantu, it's Rick Harper. I have reason to suspect my friend Tom might be involved. Found blood on his truck. Abby's diary said she felt weird around him. Please help. I'm not safe to talk openly. My thumb hovers. This feels momentous, accusing a friend, but I hit send. The delivered checkmark appears. Now I wait, tension coiled in every muscle. Will she see it quickly? She might be busy. If not, should I try to slip away? Suddenly my phone vibrates in my hand. The detective is calling. I curse at the noise and quickly answer, hissing quietly. Hello? Her voice is an urgent whisper too. Mr. Harper, I got your text. Can you talk? Are you safe? I glance at my door. It's closed. The TV is on outside. I'm not sure. Tom is here in my house. I think he might have her, detective. I found his truck dented and possibly with blood. Abby wrote in her journal she felt creeped out by him recently, and he was so quick to show up this morning. My words tumble out rapidly but softly. Okay, slow down, Cantu says. We will handle this carefully. If he's there and potentially dangerous, I don't want to tip him off. Where is he exactly now? Living room, I reply. He thinks I'm resting. All right, I have officers not far. We can come pick him up on some pretext or quietly remove you. But if he's armed or volatile, that could be risky. Does he carry any weapons usually? He has a rifle for hunting, but I don't think he'd have it now. Maybe a pocket knife at most. My mind reels. This is Tom, for God's sake. How did we get here? We need to get you out of there first, just in case, she says decisively. Can you get outside without him seeing? Perhaps ask Officer O'Neill to speak privately, or feign needing some fresh air again and we'll intercept you. I swallow. I could say I'm going to check in with the officer out front, or step out to smoke or something. I never smoke, but maybe stress would excuse it. She agrees. Do that. Once you're with the officer, we'll move in quietly to detain Tom. You should not be there when that happens. Also, I'm sorry, Rick. I know he's your friend. We just have to follow every lead. If it's a misunderstanding, we'll sort it out. But those are serious observations you've made. My eyes sting. I hope to God I'm wrong. She promises to see me soon, and we hang up. Now I have to get out calmly. I gather myself and open the bedroom door. I walk down the hall. Tom is indeed on the couch, flicking through channels idly. He looks up, surprised. Hey, feeling any better? You should sleep more. I rub my face. I can't. I'm too wired. I glance out the window. The sun is lowering, afternoon shading toward evening. Another night approaching. Fear strikes me that Abby will spend a night in hell if not found. I clear my throat. I need some air again. Actually, you have another smoke on you? Might as well ruin a lung to calm my nerves. I force a shaky chuckle. Tom arches a brow. I thought you said you'd never pick up my bad habits. He half smiles, but he reaches into his shirt pocket and tosses me his crumpled pack of Marlboros and a lighter. Don't tell me later I got you addicted. I catch them, my sweaty fingers almost dropping the lighter. One-time thing. I head to the front door. Be right on the porch. I'll be here, he says, turning back to the TV. but I notice he's watching me in the reflection of the blank part of the screen. I step onto the porch, heart pounding. Dusk is approaching, the sky purple and orange. Officer O'Neill is leaning against his squad car, and I raise the cigarette pack in a showy gesture. "Thought I'd join you in nicotine therapy," I call with a forced grin. He chuckles and waves me over. I descend the porch steps, fighting the urge to look behind me. As I reach him, I murmur quickly, "I texted Detective Cantu. I think Tom might be involved. She said to stick with you." His eyes widen subtly, but he keeps a straight face, playing along with the buddy-buddy act. "All right, man. Rough day, huh?" he says louder, as if just chatting. I nod and place a cigarette in my mouth, letting O'Neill light it for me. I puff and immediately fight a cough. It's been years. We stand by his car as if just hanging out. My house's front window is in my peripheral vision. I see Tom's shape through the sheer curtains, still on the couch. Minutes tick by in unbearable tension. I strain to hear sirens or see cruisers, but presumably they're coming quietly, maybe from the back or both ends of the street. Then, like ghosts, 2 police cars roll in from either end of the block, lights off. In an instant, officers in tactical gear emerge, including Detective Cantu. They converge toward my house. Tom notices the movement. He stands up inside. I see his silhouette tense. Suddenly, he disappears from view, heading toward the back of the house. "They're here," I hiss. Before O'Neill and I can react, we hear a crash. Tom has bolted out of the back window or door. "He's running," I shout, adrenaline spiking. The officers hear and sprint. I drop the cigarette and chase too, against O'Neill's bark to stay put. Rounding the side of the house, I see Tom sprinting through neighbours' yards toward the woods out back, the same woods Abby's trail led through. 2 cops give chase, yelling, "Stop, police!" Detective Cantu pauses by me, confirming I'm okay. I nod frantically. She signals and goes after him as well, drawing her gun but not firing. I watch in shock and heartbreak as my best friend leaps over a fallen log and disappears among the trees, cops in pursuit. O'Neill stays with me, but I'm already running after, yelling, Tom, stop, please!" The woods swallow all of us in dim shadow. The autumn leaves crunch underfoot. Up ahead, I catch glimpses of the chase. Tom's blue flannel, officers splitting to flank him. There's a scuffle of noise, a shout. Then suddenly a loud crack echoes. A gunshot? My blood runs cold. No. I crash through branches into a small clearing. 2 officers have Tom on the ground, face down, one kneeling on his back, cuffing him. Tom is struggling, shouting something hoarse and desperate. He sees me as I approach behind the detective. His face is smeared with dirt, eyes wild. "Rick, help, this is a mistake." I didn't. My world tilts. He looks pathetic, terrified, like my friend again. For a fraction of a second, I almost rushed to defend him. But then I recall the diary, the truck, and the fact he fled the moment police arrived. Detective Cantu steps forward. "Thomas Willis, you're under arrest," she says, slightly breathless. "We have reason to believe you're involved in the disappearance of Abigail Harper." She drones through Miranda rights as he pants on the ground. He closes his eyes, a tear leaking out. "Rick." "I'm sorry," he whimpers. I stagger forward. "Sorry? For what? What did you do? Where is she?" My voice cracks into a roar as emotion overtakes me. An officer gently holds me back from getting too close. Tom sobs into the dirt. "I never meant to hurt her." His words dissolve. I feel like I'm going to vomit. "Is she alive? Where is Abby?" I cry out. Detective Cantu leans down intensely. "We need to know now. If you have her somewhere, tell us. You do not want a kidnapping to turn into a murder, Tom. Where is she?" For one agonizing moment, he just weeps. Then, through sputtering lips, "The farm. She's at the farm. The root cellar. I'm sorry." Chaos ensues. Cantu barks orders into her radio to dispatch units to that location and have an ambulance on standby. I sink to my knees, equal parts devastated and relieved to have a direction. There's a chance. As the others haul Tom to his feet and start marching him out of the woods, I stumble after them. I can't tear my eyes off my friend, my betrayer. "Why?" I whisper, voice ragged. "Why would you do this? We trusted you. She trusted you." He doesn't meet my gaze, but through broken sobs I catch fragments. Didn't plan to. I was lonely. She was so beautiful and kind to me. I thought, maybe, if I could just make her see, then you wouldn't. I'm sick, Rick. I'm so sorry. His confessions turn to incoherent crying as they drag him away. I don't have the strength or will to follow further. Detective Cantu stays with me, helping me stand on shaking legs. My mind is laser-focused now on one thing, Abby. There's a chance to save her. Cantu assures me, "We're getting her, Mr. Harper. Hang tight. We'll take you there now. You can ride with me." Within minutes, I'm in her car, racing down back roads, sirens blaring now. She radios updates. Other units are already en route to the old farm address Tom gave. I stare out the window, body numb, heart in my throat. Tom's words churn in my head. He was lonely. I missed signs. My God. The car rumbles down a gravel road as twilight falls. Ahead, I see the dilapidated farmhouse silhouette and a couple of police cars lighting it up with red and blue. I leap out before the car fully stops, sprinting towards the cluster of officers by what looks like a storm cellar door built into the ground behind the house. Cantu tries to call after me, but I don't stop. "Abby!" I scream, pushing past someone as I reach the cellar doors. Two officers are already there, heaving the heavy wooden doors open. One shines a flashlight into the darkness below. A nauseating smell wafts out, damp earth, mold, and something else, a cloying metallic tang. Blood. I almost collapse, fear nearly stopping my heart. But then, a small sound, a whimper echoing from the depths. "Abby!" I shout down the stairs, my voice breaking. "Dad?" A weak reply comes, cracked and faint, but it's her. It's her. I plunge down the steps without hesitation, grabbing the flashlight from an officer's hand to light my way. At the bottom, on the dirt floor of the cellar, I find her. Bound to a wooden support beam, arms tied behind, mouth duct-taped, eyes squeezed shut against the sudden light. She's alive. I sob with relief as I rush to her, ripping the tape from her mouth as gently as I can. She winces and immediately breaks into trembling cries. "Daddy!" I'm here, sweetie," I gasp, tears blurring my sight as I fumble with the ropes cutting into her wrists. An EMT hurries down behind me with a knife, and together we saw through the bonds. She collapses forward into my arms. I hold her, feeling how thin and weak she is, her whole body shaking. Her clothes are dirty, her jeans torn and stained with dark patches that might be dried blood. I see bruises on her face, a swollen, split lip. My stomach heaves with rage and sorrow at what he did to her. I'm sorry, I choke out, cradling her head to my chest. I feel her fingers clutching desperately at my shirt as if to make sure I'm real. "He hurt me. I tried to fight. I tried." She sobs into me, voice raw and wrecked. "Shh, it's okay now. You're safe now. I've got you. I won't let go." I never will again, I swear it. The EMT gently pries me back a few inches to examine her. Abby cries out in panic when I'm a few inches apart, so I keep holding her hand, reassuring her I'm right here. I'm not leaving. They quickly check her vitals. She's dehydrated, and there's a bandage on her upper arm soaked through with blood. Apparently a shallow stab wound or cut, likely Tom's doing, my mind growls. But she's alive. She's alive. "We need to get her to the hospital," the medic urges. I nod fiercely and scoop her into my arms, carrying her up out of that nightmare hole myself. She clings to me, head on my shoulder, whimpering when she sees the flurry of activity and lights outside. "It's okay, I've got you," I whisper over and over as I carry her toward the waiting ambulance. She buries her face against my neck. In the ambulance, as they start an IV and oxygen, I stay by her side, gripping her hand. She refuses to let them shut me out for any exams. I step out only briefly when they check for more serious injuries and evidence of assault. My legs nearly give way as I realize what that entails. The female medic gives me a grave, furious look and a nod confirming my worst fear. That animal, he hurt her in unspeakable ways. I punched the side of the ambulance once to vent the rage without scaring Abby. My knuckles bleed, but I feel nothing. Then I'm back at her side, and she only relaxes again when our hands are clasped. As the vehicle sirens on toward the hospital, night fully fallen outside, I look at her pale face, her eyes half open watching me. She whispers, voice barely audible, "I knew you'd come, Dad. I knew you'd find me." Tears flow freely down my face as I lean close, careful of her bruises, and kiss her forehead. "Always, my brave girl, always." My voice is thick, barely more than a breath. Her eyelids flutter, exhaustion pulling her under. "Don't leave," she pleads weakly, fear flickering in her swollen eyes. I'm not going anywhere, I promise, squeezing her hand gently. Rest now. I'm right here. She finally closes her eyes, still gripping my hand like a lifeline, and drifts into a fitful sleep. I watch her, my baby girl, alive and safe, and I silently thank every power in the universe for this mercy. The nightmare isn't over. There will be long days of healing ahead for her and for me. Our lives are forever altered, scarred by betrayal and horror. Tom has ruined so much, our trust, our sense of safety, the last remnants of my faith in good. But he did not ruin us. He did not take the one thing that truly matters. Abby is alive. She will recover. We will recover together. As the ambulance races through the dark toward hope and light, I whisper a vow into the humming air. I'm here, Abby. I'll always be here. And in the faint squeeze of her fingers in mine, even in sleep, I feel her answer. The unbroken bond between father and daughter, battered but unbowed, carrying us forward into whatever comes next. In the quiet aftermath of the storm, I sit by Abby's bedside. Each gentle breath, a promise that even shattered hearts can mend. Though betrayal and pain have scarred our lives, the unbreakable bond between us shines through every dark moment. Together we will rise from the ruins, forging hope and healing from the remnants of yesterday. When darkness falls, a father's love is the light that never fades.
Every story has an end, but here the mysteries never stop. Thank you for watching and being a part of this journey into the unknown. Your support keeps these stories alive, and there's plenty more waiting for you. We drop 3 new stories every week, so if you crave suspense, the unexplained and the downright chilling, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's next. Until then, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, some stories stay with you long after they're told.